The following show contains views and opinions that may not be suitable for all audiences. Audience discretion is advised.
Howdy, 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 everybody. Welcome to Thespian Talk. I am your host, Gomer the Ranting Thespian, and with me this week is the cat.
Yes, I am here.
And Erin Mills, a.k.a. DubiousKhan.
Yes, hello, how are you? Avita's in, goodbye? Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, it's been a few weeks.
It has. It's been 2 weeks. I had stuff going on 2 weeks ago. I had a family thing I had to deal with. And then last week, I got called into work on a Sunday. So, yeah. So couldn't be here for the usual shenanigans.
Oh, yeah. And you went to a con this weekend, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I went to Salt Lake Comic-Con this weekend, and for those who don't know, when you have a convention in Salt Lake City, you're not going to make any money holding your convention on a Sunday at all.
Yeah.
Nobody's making money. Too many people are going to church and not going to your convention. So out here, rather than the usual Friday, Saturday, Sunday that most conventions run, conventions out here run Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Makes sense.
Yep.
But I assume it was fun.
That's all right. I have discovered that giant all-in-one conventions that try to cater to everybody just really are not my thing at all. I go to them, they're loud, they're noisy, they're crowded, and usually I don't give a shit about the panels at all.
Yeah.
Like, who are these assholes and why the fuck do I care what they're talking about? So mostly I went, one, because my dad actually won some tickets on the radio and handed them over to me.
Ooh.
And my son wanted to go, so that was, and it was my weekend with him anyway. So, yeah, we went. It was fun. It was both better and worse than other Salt Lake Comic Cons. It was better because they finally figured out how to maximize the space that they have. The convention center, the Salt Palace, isn't like a big giant thing like a bunch of convention centers are because of the way it's laid out. It's actually in an L shape. So the main hall is like this giant L shape. So in the past, it's just traffic's been a nightmare. They've crammed too many booths into too many places. One year we went and they put a fucking wrestling ring like right at the juncture of the L, like right in that, and that just everything up traffic wise and all that. So they finally figured out. They put all the booths and whatnot in Artist Alley all in one section, and then they put a few other booths and some other stuff in another section, and down at the far bottom end of the L is where they put all the celebrities and signings and whatnot, and that worked out a lot better. It was worse because not really a lot of big draws this year. Not really a lot of big draws. The biggest draws, Mark Hamill was there, so was Shatner. Robert Englund was there, Famke Janssen was there, and they were basically the top tier. And usually they've had like a lot more bigger names than that. I mean, they had some minor celebrities, but some it's just like really bizarre. Like Henry Winkler was there.
Hey.
And Tom Wopat and John Schneider and Catherine Bach. We had the Dukes of Hazzard there.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I didn't get any of the autographs or anything, which I'm kind of kicking myself for because mostly I forgot it. I wanted to get Robert Englund to autograph my bootleg copy of Nightmare Cafe, just to see his reaction. But I forgot to take it with me, so I couldn't do that.
And see, I wish
I didn't do all 3 days of the convention because since it was sprung on me at the last minute, and because it's Labor Day weekend, people had already requested time off. So I couldn't get off work,
right,
for all day for Thursday or Friday. So, and I wasn't getting my kid until Friday afternoon.
Right.
So basically, went down. I got him. We went up there. We were there for a couple of hours, and then we went back and spent all day Saturday there for the most part. So.
Yeah, and Mark Hamill. Damn it! I wish I could have been there. I would love to meet him.
Here's the thing: they did Mark Hamill's panel.
Mm-hmm.
They did not do Mark Hamill's panel at the convention center.
Where did they do it?
They did it at the local sports arena where the Utah Jazz play.
Wow! Was there
And
enough
apparently-
people to justify this?
Yes.
Okay then.
Salt Lake Comic-Con is starting to prove to be the biggest threat to San Diego, apparently.
Ooh.
Okay? I don't think it'll ever top San Diego, but it had the biggest opening for any convention its very first year.
Mm-hmm.
It's consistently done over 100,000 people
God damn.
every
Wow.
time. And unlike San Diego Comic-Con, the people behind this one actually do it twice a year.
Ah.
And there's Salt Lake Comic-Con Fan Experience. Fan Experience is a little more focused. They tend to try to do themed guests, like pick, really. That's usually Fan Experience is actually where they get kind of their really big ones, like the very first Fan Experience, which I actually covered as media, and you can see that on my YouTube channel. They got like almost everybody who was on Star Trek: The Next Generation, and at the last minute, they actually managed to book Patrick Stewart for one day.
Oh, nice.
So, and they got Nathan Fillion in for one day, and a whole bunch of other people like that. So, but yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
So Kat, how has your week been? Same as usual.
Yeah, nothing exciting. No conventions, even though it's like the biggest conventions are going on right now. All of my friends, not all of my friends, but some of my friends are at Dragon Con right now, making me jealous.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I've seen pictures. I was like, oh, I want to be there. And the thing is, Dragon Con is in Atlanta. And it's like, if I'd known about it and I planned ahead, I could have been like, hey, we have some places I could park near Atlanta. Why don't you just let me go there?
Yeah, one of my friends lives in Atlanta, and I could have probably just been like, hey, can I come crash at your place? But honestly, I think they said for Labor Day weekend there was going to be about 100,000 tourists in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
For all the comings and goings, and mostly Dragon Con. I'm like, yeah, no. I just don't think I could hack it at a con that big anymore, because I grew up basically going to big cons because I would go to Otakon every year. And then I moved out to the Midwest and started running small cons, and now I love small cons and really hate big cons.
Small cons are great. There's a small con that I went to all the time when I lived in Florida, Necronomicon in Tampa every year, which is actually more of a literary con than anything else. So they don't get like big name celebrities usually. They usually get smaller celebrities and actual authors out there. Timothy Zahn, who, if for those of you who aren't geeking out over the name, who wrote the Heir to the Empire trilogy, he's a big he lives out in that area, so he's there every year. He's one of the nicest guys ever. They, like I said, they do occasionally get smaller celebrities, which are usually a big deal. They actually got Lloyd Kaufman of Troma down there one year, and that was great.
Nice.
I got to meet him and talk to him, and it's a much more laid-back area. You can actually get into conversations with these people for prolonged periods of time rather than the usual 2 minutes, get out.
Yeah. That sounds like a fun thing. And you said it's where? What, like around Tampa or something, or?
In Tampa, it is usually held in October.
Ooh.
Here's the problem, and I want to bring this up right now since I brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of in danger at the moment because Tampa is getting its own Comic-Con, and this year they're running it the exact same weekend.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That is not
now,
good.
apparently, Necronomicon has reached out to the people who run Tampa Comic-Con, and they've actually, and keep in mind, Necronomicon's been running for almost 30 years.
Right.
So it's never been big, but it's consistent.
Yeah.
So they've reached out and they've talked to the people at Tampa, and they've actually worked something out. If you are in the Tampa area and you're going to Tampa Comic-Con, I haven't they're still working on it as far as I know, but they may be working out a special discount for Tampa attendees for Necronomicon.
Ooh,
so,
nice.
And here's the thing, Tampa Comic Con tends to shut everything down around 8 p.m. from what I understand, 8 or 9 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Necronomicon goes all night.
Ah ha ha ha!
There's all night gaming, there's all night panels, there's all night everything. The party doesn't stop at Necro. So,
nice. Now, what I would like to see, honestly, and this is a bit selfish on my part because of where I live, I would love to see a Comic-Con or something like that come to Panama City. If only because that would be a con where I'm actually close to that might be semi-big. Oh, but then I know how people around here are going to be like, well, there's so many people here, and it's like, guys, they're bringing in revenue. Yeah, the traffic sucks, but we experienced that with spring break.
Don't they have to? Yeah, that's what I mean. Don't they have to put up with that every year with spring break anyway?
Exactly. Although maybe it is a good thing that I'm not having to go through Atlanta at this particular point with Dragon Con going on. Atlanta traffic is bad enough on its own.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, let's just say Arik has called me a couple of times while I've been going through Atlanta, and I would be screaming at people and trying to remind them that merge is not a personal challenge, regardless of what Jeff Foxworthy had said. Bear in mind, folks, that was a joke, not meant to be taken seriously. Foxworthy saying that. So, yeah. So with that, let's go ahead and hit our shout-outs and all of that good stuff. Of course, I don't have any major shout-outs other than what I'm going to be putting out there right now. If you go to my Patreon, patreon.com/Gomer21XX, and you toss $15 a month at me, and I made double sure that is where it is, and all of that, you can get advertisement on the site. You get like a little button or banner or whatever it is we can work on the site. Depends on how the site's formatted, really. You get a little, you get mentions at the end of all of my videos, the Let's Play videos. I think vlogs so far, depending on the vlog, it kind of don't do it, but you still get it in the description anyway. And of course, mentions on all the podcasts that I do. So you get, if I'm at full production, you get a lot of opportunities to get your name out there. And there is one person who is currently able and willing to have her stuff put out there, who is among my patrons, and her name is Beth Cody. She has a podcast called Invest with Beth. You can check it out at investwithbeth.com or check her out on iTunes. If you're watching or listening to this on the site, both the link over there in the sidebar, you just click on the picture, it takes you to her site. I've got the iTunes link in the description. I should put the website in the description as well if I haven't done so already. But check it out if you want to get into like real estate investment and all of that. It's a good podcast to listen to. And if I decide I want to try doing that myself, I'll start there. And I think her site also should have some resources that can also get you help you get started. Her podcast itself gives, she has interviews with people that have been doing this kind of thing for years, and their advice, and they give advice and all that good stuff. And of course, because I've been doing it and I believe in this site anyway, CirclePlus.co, which is run by Holly Christine and Lady Jess. Check them out. They are a site that is the basic premise is it's female producers, sometimes having male guests on it every now and then. But it is content by women, for women, with women, all that really good stuff. And there's some really talented ladies working over there. Go check them out, CirclePlus.co. Erin, do you have any shout-outs for this week?
Yes, I do. For those of you who enjoy cooking and lesbians, allow me to point you to the direction of the Tumblr coming from a state champion asshole.tumblr.com. This is run by a delightful woman who goes by the online alias of Doc Holligay. She has many varied interests, which include Sailor Moon and the Old West. She is married to a lovely veterinarian, and as mentioned, she is a state champion baker. Her side blog, coming from a state champion asshole.tumblr.com, is where she reblogs assorted fandom memes that she likes, but she also reblogs her recipes. Everything from fried chicken to quiche to croutons, and all with her wonderfully snarky commentary on saying. For example, her most recent one she put up today, Quiche, a lesson in sounding fancy and being lazy.
Huh. That sounds neat.
Yeah, it is. And her main blog is also very good. But bear in mind, she does not suffer fools gladly. Any stupidity in her inbox will be dealt with swiftly and harshly, and you'll need ointment when she's done with you.
Yay! That's the kind of blog I like. As long as it's used, for good. And if you're pointing it out, I'm pretty sure it's used for good. So.
For the most part. Anyway. Well, yeah. So yeah, coming from a state champion asshole.tumblr.com.
Sweet. I shall have to check that out. Kat, I'm gonna guess you do not have any shoutouts again, do you?
Correct. I have none. And honestly, after how much you rambled during yours, Gomer, we wouldn't have time for me to have one anyway.
Fair enough. Hey, we hit two TV trope. We hit two tropes on TV tropes already. Motor mouth and running gag. I love it. But before we do get into the news, I do want to address and damn it, I get to this point and I remembered, oh shit, there was something I wanted to do at the beginning of the show, but I never did. Oops, that's okay. But we all have learned, we all have read and seen how YouTube rather, is apparently now enforcing a new thing, demonetizing videos and such that fall outside of certain guidelines. They want to be more advertiser friendly. One of which kind of has grabbed my attention the most is something that could be controversial. And let me pull this up real quick because here it is. The things that they consider not appropriate for advertising includes, but not limited to, sexually suggestive content, including partial nudity and sexual humor. Then, and to that I have to say, then wouldn't some advertisers not advertise on there? Because sex sells, guys. Violence, including display of serious injury and events related to violent extremism. Inappropriate language, including harassment, swearing, and vulgar language. Well, let me just take care of that right now. Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits. I get more money from Patreon anyway, so I'm not worried about it. Promotion of drugs and regulated substances, including selling, use, and abuse of such items, and the one that is broad enough that you can drive at least 5 yachts through. Controversial or sensitive subjects and events, including subjects related to war, political conflicts, natural disasters, and tragedies, even if graphic imagery is not shown. Yeah, that right there is probably some of the broadest language that they could have used, and that it leaves it open to so much abuse, because somebody could say, oh, it's controversial, you gotta do that, and somebody complains and they get their monetization taken away. Now, for people like me, smaller people who may not be relying on YouTube for an income or what have you, not that much of a deal. But then you have some people that rely on it, and they basically made it their job to talk about controversial topics, such as, for example, like the Young Turks or Philip DeFranco, just to name 2 examples right off the top of my head. Their livelihood is, potentially threatened. And yeah, some of them, they probably have like backups just in case something like this happens. But what about the people who don't for one reason or another? Maybe they didn't think about it, or maybe they're just now getting up to this point and the rug's about to be pulled out from under them. It could threaten some livelihoods and leave people scrambling for other things, which is why I highly suggest getting a Patreon. But, there are some people that would rely on this ad revenue, and because somebody thinks that it's controversial just talking. There was one video that I saw was demonetized because they talked about depression. And it's like, really? Depression is that controversial that you need to demonetize it? Really? So I'm already seeing it a little bit here and there. Now, there is some good things. There are people that do get on there, say inflammatory things. They troll and they basically are assholes, and making money at it, and not in the good way. Those people not being able to do that anymore, sure, hopefully they've, I have very little sympathy for them. The people that I do have sympathy for are the ones that just genuinely discuss it, give their opinions on it, and not trying to start anything, maybe just starting discussions about certain things. And they've made the living off of it at this point, and now they just can't. They have to find other means of getting that money and still do what they do. I think one of those, I think Neurotically Yours, I think that particular channel got hit with some of it too. So it's like, yeah. Now, bear in mind, this does not mean you cannot put up videos like this. You just won't get paid for it if you fall without those outside of those guidelines. But like I said, especially that last one, that just seems so broad enough to me that it could be highly abused, and that is what really worries me. That some petty asshole could sit there and be like, oh, hey, I don't like this controversy, kick up a storm, and then that person loses their livelihood and have to go and find another job and they may not be prepared to do so. So, yeah, I wanted to bring that up real quick. Do either of you have any thoughts on it? We'll start with Kat.
No, not really, no.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm not into the whole making money off of these videos and podcasts and stuff, so I have no honest opinion about it.
Okay. Erin, since you are also a fellow YouTuber and such, do you have any particular thoughts on it?
Okay, I'm going to say this right out. This is not censorship. It is not.
Right.
It is an inconvenience. It is an asshole corporate dick move. It is YouTube once again getting down to suck the corporate cock until it comes all over their face. But it's not censorship.
Right.
You can still put up the videos, you just may not be able to make money on them. And honestly, I can see where YouTube's coming from, but yeah, they really should have had their lawyers tighten up that language. That's really broad language, especially considering who makes them the most money.
Yeah.
People like, PewDiePie and Markiplier and all that. People with like over 10 million subscribers or more.
Mm-hmm.
Who's basically more or less, and let's be honest, gang, right now the big name of the game in YouTube is fucking Let's Plays. So, all the people who are, most of their big top earners are people who basically have made a career out of swearing at video games.
Yep.
So, yeah. It sucks. It's terrible. It's more of YouTube, for some reason, deciding it wants to be a fucking TV network than an online video hosting service. But it's not censorship. It's a private site. They can do whatever the fuck they want. And unfortunately, because, nobody else has supported any other major video platform, it's your own damn fault.
Yeah, pretty much. Because, hey, wait, we had Blip. Yeah, but they killed Blip. God damn it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you killed Blip because nobody was supporting it. It wasn't making enough money, so guess what? Blip went bye-bye.
Yep.
And don't start screaming about Disney. Maker wouldn't have... Disney bought Maker. Maker bought Blip.
Yeah.
Maker wouldn't have bought Blip if Blip was able to sustain itself.
Yeah, pretty much.
If more people were fucking watching Blip.
Yeah.
And don't get me started on... Dailymotion is a joke. Dailymotion is a friggin' joke. Dailymotion will just take your videos down the second anybody complains and not tell you. YouTube at least tells you when they took a video down.
Yeah.
You'll go to your thing on Dailymotion and go, oh shit, half my videos are gone. What happened?
Yeah, somebody complained and whined.
And Vimeo? Nope. To get in the game and do things in HD, you have to pay Vimeo to upload
Yeah, this is why I never
video
went to Vimeo.
files.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, it sucks, but it's not censorship, and we really don't have anybody but ourselves to blame for making YouTube the only game in town.
Yeah. I can, at this particular point, I could definitely agree that not really censorship. If you look through my Twitter feed, I've probably retweeted a few things along that line, in the past week or whatever as it comes out, and as things are boiling around. But as we get here, as we kind of came to the same conclusion that it's not really censorship. You can still upload the videos, just not going to get paid for it.
You can still say what you want, just don't expect to get paid for it. And they're like, but it's messing with my livelihood. Okay, that's fine. But
yeah.
Yes, agreed. But you're not being censored.
Yeah.
Just because they take your money away, that it does not fit the term censorship.
Yeah.
Or are you saying that what you have to say, you're only saying because you need income?
Yeah. It's like, I mean, hey,
Take that into account. Is what you're saying only worth saying if you're getting paid for it?
Yeah. I mean, hell, I don't get paid for the Let's Play videos I do. In fact, I get single-digit views on my Let's Plays. Most of the time. But I still need money. So what do? I don't whine and complain about it. I do what I do. But you know what? I went out, got myself a day job. You know, easier said than done, because look how many years it took. But still, you know, it is doable. And now
all in all, it comes down to what you're doing it for.
Yeah.
Honestly, in my opinion, it comes down to, you know, I'm like Kat. It's like, do I enjoy making money? Have I made a little bit of money in my videos? Yes, I have. Is that why I'm doing it? No. About 75% of my videos have already been smacked by Content ID and getting the monetization that I have stolen. I've checked. I haven't had any demonetized.
Yeah.
But, you know, most of them I'm not making any money on for me anyway. Somebody else is getting it. And that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm in this to entertain people. I'm not necessarily in this. Would it be nice if I could do this for a living? Sure. Do I expect to be able to do this for a living? No, I don't.
Yeah.
So you got to ask yourself, why are you doing it then?
Exactly.
If it's your livelihood, I can understand. If it's your business, I can understand. You know, you might have started off doing it for a reason, and now it's your job. And I can understand why the people who make money doing that are pissed about it.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, for your mid to lower range YouTubers, just ask yourselves, why am I doing this? Because if you're just doing it for fame or money, you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Because, and I'll be honest, I'm in the same boat. I would love to make a living, and in fact, that's one of my longer-term goals, to be able to make a living doing something that I enjoy, and that is basically what a Let's Play video you do. You play a video. It's pretty much like inviting somebody into your room to talk and watch you play a game. You know, it's pretty much what it is. You know, we did it in the old days with our families. We'd sit around, one person would play a video game, and we'd all have a conversation. In fact, just yesterday, I got a retro on a few old Nintendo games, and I was sitting there. I was playing probably Bayou Billy or something, and we were just sitting around the room having a conversation. You know, I was talking, they were watching, and it was enjoyed by all. That's basically what the essence of a Let's Play is. And I personally, I wouldn't mind. I say I wouldn't mind, but I like to share that, and that's where it comes from. Do I want to make a living doing that, sharing that experience with everybody? Yeah, but will I make it there? I don't know. I'll keep trying. I'll keep trying new things, but at the end of the day, still got to eat. So, you know, we do what we must, and like Erin said, you know, question yourself. If you have that same mindset, if you just simply enjoy it and you want to share it, keep doing it. You know, don't let this demonetization thing stop you. You know, if you let it stop you, then you know, if you're gonna let anything stop you, that basically that's not the hill you want to die on, is what I'm saying. So yeah, I wanted to just bring it up and kind of address it here. And for the record, I did check all of the episodes of Thespian Talk that are on YouTube right now. None of them have been demonetized. So apparently we're okay for right now. And my videos have not been touched as of yet, as of the time we're recording. But I assume
seems to be implied from some of the things I've seen. It seems to be implied that it's the individual advertisers that are deciding whether or not. And I think it's only when certain enough advertisers back out that YouTube says, "Okay, that's not going to make us any money."
Yeah. So okay. So well, I guess there's an advantage of being really low tier. Not that I make much anyway. At least not through YouTube. Anyway, we've kind of rambled on enough about this. Let's get to our news stories. First one comes out of Stuart, Florida. Hi, Florida. I am inside you. I really want to be outside of you, but we'll get there.
Have I mentioned how much I am so sick of that meme?
Yeah. I try not to use it too often.
Anyway.
So, as you scroll through Mac Yearwood's profile pictures on Facebook, they look just like anybody else's. Then you get to one that's different. It's a wanted poster with Yearwood's face on it. Stuart police said Yearwood's own profile picture helped them arrest the wanted suspect. I just thought, there's always somebody out there, said Sergeant Heather Roth of the Stuart Police Department. Monday night, Stuart police were called for a battery complaint, and when the police got there, the suspect, Yearwood, was gone. The detectives went back to the police station and decided to search social media to see what they could learn about the man they were searching for. Hey, putting in the work, that's good. Detectives say they learned a lot. They went on Facebook and found that he had open warrants from another county. They learned that through Yearwood's own profile picture, which was his wanted poster from Citrus County, that let the police know there was an arrest warrant out for Yearwood on battery charges. Wow, that was really weirdly inflected on my part. Police said they couldn't remember another suspect, making it that easy for them to learn about an outstanding warrant. I did chuckle, yes, Roth said. Police went back to the home the next day and arrested Yearwood. According to the police, Yearwood asked if he could put on a pair of jeans before they arrested him. Police agreed and said as he put on his jeans, a bag of marijuana fell out. Oops. On top of the outstanding warrants, Yearwood also faces drug charges. Police said they're still investigating the initial complaint of battery, and Yearwood could face additional charges. Now, I don't agree with marijuana being illegal and all of that, but as long as it is, don't be stupid about it. And furthermore...
Well, here's the thing. What do you want to bet? He just grabbed whatever pair of jeans was lying on the floor and completely forgot the fucking weed was there.
Yeah, that's probably what happened.
That's not mine, man. These ain't even my pants.
But they have your name on them. Shit.
Ain't my pants. Ain't my pants, man.
Yeah. Oh, God. And of course, there's also the big thing. If you're wanted for any kind of criminal activity, don't advertise it on Facebook.
Why the fuck would you even use your own wanted poster as your profile picture?
Just no. You know, if you put it up there like long after everything is settled, like you paid your dues to society or whatever, or charges were dropped or whatever, that I could understand. But this was an outstanding warrant. This is one that's still active, you dumbass.
There's no cure for being stupid.
Ron White is right. You can't fix stupid. Speaking of, well, what I might consider at least partially stupid on somebody's part. Another part of Florida, Daytona Beach. I've been there. I got family near there. An old church in Volusia County found new life as a swingers club, but it might not be around for long. I've just got to say, a swingers club in an old church, I find that kind of awesome. But that's just me. The city of Daytona Beach wants to shut the club down. Most neighbors said they knew nothing of the club on the South Ridgewood Avenue, but said they did not want it near their homes. Fucking NIMBYs. Although in this case, it's not as bad as, say, they don't want a homeless shelter near their homes. But I digress. I didn't know it was a swingers club, said Roberto Casanova. Really? Your last name is Casanova? Awesome. Paperwork filed with the city shows the property is a club called Minglers. While there are no signs advertising the kind of place it is, Minglers has online advertisements. Yeah, you know what other kind of places don't advertise what kind of places they are? Certain bars don't. Some clubs don't. They're just like, hey, this is where the club is, Now, the bigger ones obviously will, but not everyone does that. Its website describes it as a members-only social club. Okay. City filed the paperwork to bring a temporary injunction against the club, claiming Minglers is operating without a business receipt tax, which isn't legal. Fair enough, but documents obtained by the local news showed the city initially denied the club's request for its business receipts tax in April. Uh-oh. City claims the club would be serving alcohol and allowing nudity in a spot not zoned for it. Fucking zoning laws. Okay, first of all, it's just a swingers club. Yeah, there is the assumption that there would be alcohol served. Just because it's a swingers club doesn't necessarily mean the sex happens there. Just saying. It's like saying it's like saying you go into a gay bar and you're going to see everybody having gay sex with each other. It doesn't work. Let's see. But the city said it's because Minglers is operating without the proper paperwork in place that it wants to shut it down. Daytona already has a bad reputation, and to bring this here is just making it worse, said resident Ashley Johnson. It is supposed to be a safe place for tourists and people to come and have a good time with their family. This is just crazy, and I don't think it's called for at all. So, people, okay. So basically, the city, according to the paperwork, there is not the proper paperwork is not in place, but but apparently they tried for it, and the city was like, no. So, the business did due diligence. The city let them down, and now it's coming back to bite this business in the ass. And of course the people are like, well, swingers is something we don't understand or like or approve of or whatever. Blah 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 blah. So yeah, what do you think, Erin?
I just this is the kind of thing that gives Franz Kafka wet dreams. Honestly, this is just yeah, this is just bureaucratic fuck. This is the Broovies thing all over again. Quite honestly.
Oh yeah, I remember Broovies.
We don't want it. We don't want it here. So we're going to do everything we can to make it impossible to open it here.
Yeah, you know what? Oh,
for those wondering, no, I have not heard any updates on the Broovies story. As soon as I do, I will let you know.
Yeah. And to be fair, I haven't either, but I'm also but also lit up a light bulb in me. We have that same issue in my town, because we've tried to have different things happen or whatever, and while nobody went to this particular length to get anything closed down like this, as far as I know, we also have the fucking Baptist College of Florida in our town, and of course, we have a whiny conservative piss baby as a president over there. So yeah, religious and at least in this case, religious influence drives things out. I'm surprised we even have an economy sometimes. But that's a whole personal thing. Kat, what about you? Do you have any thoughts on this?
I'm a little confused because it sounds like, had they already been operating, or were they just trying to build?
I think it might be a little bit of both, from what I'm gathering from this.
Like, were they already operating and then they needed this license or whatever, so they tried to get it, but they continued operating, or were they just trying to build a swingers club? Because it sounds like it was already operating, but it didn't have the proper licenses.
Yeah.
Even though it was operating. So basically they were operating without the proper licenses, which does sound kind of shady to me. But again, like, I'm kind of with you guys. It's really stupid that people don't want a swingers club around. I live in an area where you are at any given moment about 5 minutes from a porn shop. And if you try and go even a mile out of the city, you're going to run into about 5 or 6 porn shops and titty bars and all kinds of stuff. So I'm kind of desensitized to it.
Yeah. I want to live there.
Completely desensitized to it.
I want to live there now because I like porn shops. Well, of course I would.
But they're like skeezy, dirty ass Midwestern porn shops. I wouldn't want to go to one.
Well,
there's like a nicer one closer to the airport, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, I mean, and we do have porn shops in my area, surprisingly, including one in Alabama, which I don't think they call it a sex shop because laws and everything, but yeah, it is definitely one of the nicer ones. But speaking of porn, have either of you, oh wow. First of all, I want to say to the Wall Street Journal, fuck you for your fucking paywall, and causing me and others like me who want to actually see this whole thing have to go out and go out of our way to read the whole thing, which we're not going to be reading the whole thing here. And what thing am I talking about? Well, you're going to find out. Pam Anderson, who's all set to join the cast of the Baywatch movie, penned an op-ed for the Wall Street Journal on Wednesday condemning pornography as, quote-unquote, a public hazard of unprecedented seriousness. I wish I was making that up. The former Playboy model partnered with ultra-conservative Rabbi Shmuley Boteach. Can you get any more stereotypical? I don't think so. To decry porn in the wake of Anthony Weiner's third sexting scandal, which in fact had nothing whatsoever to do with porn. Yeah, Anthony Weiner, he just decided, hey, you know what? Sexty. Cheat on wifey. Because the man obviously can't handle monogamy. And a quote from the actual article, and if anyone still doubted the devastation that porn addiction wreaks on those closest to the addict. Behold the now shattered marriage of Mr. Wiener and Huma Abdin. From our respective positions of rabbi counselor and former Playboy model and actress, we have often warned about pornography's corrosive effects on a man's soul and his ability to function as a husband and, by extension, as father. This is a public hazard of unprecedented seriousness. They go on to blame the internet and the dissemination of technology for so-called porn addiction, which they say is found disproportionately in men who report less satisfactory intimate lives with their wives or girlfriends as a result of the consumption. And the upcoming generation, they say, is particularly at risk because they're being raised in an environment of wall-to-wall digitized sexual images. They are the crack babies of porn. The crack baby... Oh.
Wow. The crack babies of porn.
I think we have our title.
Crack Babies of Porn. Crack Babies of Porn is the name of my Rage Against the Machine cover band.
There you go. And which sounds scary and all, except there's no scientific evidence of porn addiction, a popular conservative scapegoat, actually exists. I don't know about whether or not porn addiction exists. I think addiction is a thing and it is a problem. Just in general, and anybody can be addicted to anything. You got people addicted to hoarding. You got people addicted to eating paper. So it stands to reason you're going to have people addicted to porn. Here's the thing. The porn's not the problem. It's the people. It's the people consuming the porn. That's the problem. Now, let's see. Pornography's corrosive effects on man's soul and his ability to function as a husband and, by extension, as a father. I'm not a husband, but I am a boyfriend. And in fact, I talked about this with Becky for the previous night, and we both agreed it doesn't really affect me in that particular way. We do our things. In fact, she consumes porn herself, although a different kind of porn. She consumes it herself, and I'm willing to bet that everybody listening here, including both Erin and Kat, to some degree, hasn't really been affected by porn in that particular way, in the way that she's talking. I don't think any of us are addicted to it. I'm assuming. And I'm willing to bet that even if we all consumed, say, 5 hours of porn per day, which, okay, might be a little excessive, but, I think we could still go on about our daily lives and be fine. So, Erin, I'm going to start with you. What are your thoughts on all of this?
I do the same thoughts that are on anytime somebody wants to declare pornography a public health crisis. Shut the fuck up and go away.
Yeah, and this.
I'm in the state that started this whole porn as a health crisis bullshit.
Oh yeah, you're at ground zero.
Yeah, it's just like, for fuck's sake, why can't people just mind their own goddamn business?
Yeah.
I've held this theory for a while, and I firmly believe it. Every single problem in the world, socially, politically, economically, it all comes back to the fact that it seems like human beings as a species are biologically incapable of minding their own goddamn business.
Yeah. I can definitely see that.
That country has things that country's doing things we don't like that don't affect us at all. We must invade.
I know, right? You got the country's MO right
They
there.
worship a different god than we do, and they're not bothering us. We must take care of them and destroy them for some inexplicable reason.
Yeah, which of course always comes back to
that company is making money. That company is making money in our same field. Buy them out and destroy them.
Yeah. We just can't live and let live, and apparently porn is among those things, and it's like, really? And crack babies of porn. There's our title there, by the way. I think I said it before. And Pam Anderson was a Playboy model. I'm not, it may sound kind of weird or off, but I can't, if you're going to argue against porn, having done porn,
that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is she's not the only one who's gone back and recanted against her porn career. She's not the only one.
That's like the preachers who tell people not to touch kids and then they go touch kids. It's like, you really don't have room to tell me what to do with my life when you are responsible for a lot of it.
Yeah. I'm just
So dumb.
Like, if you got into porn and you had a bad time with it, then you know what? I'm sorry. I wish it could have gone better for you. But just like any other, field out there, I say field, just like anything else out there, there's going to be horrible experiences. There are going to be good experiences. There are going to be experiences where you're going to be treated horribly. You're going to be dehumanized. And it's not just in porn. It's in every industry out there. That's the word I was looking for, industry. So porn is no different than that. The only difference is people get naked and they have sex on screen. That's the difference. That's all there is. And I follow a lot of porn stars now, just because they're honestly, when they're not promoting their stuff or whatever, they say some really funny, goofy, and sometimes thought-provoking things. Because they're people just like us. They're making a living. They're making a living having sex on camera. Whether it's because that's all they know how to do, or if they just enjoy it that much, or if they feel they have to because they felt they didn't have any options. It's still their job. And to kind of tie in with this as well, there's also a thing in California, Prop 60, which, from what I understand, one of the things behind it was if somebody sees a porn scene and the performers aren't using, basically not using condoms or some kind of protection, or not seen using protection, then they can sue the performers. Because, just because, hey, you're not using that, so we can sue you. And that's just kind of bullshit, and it's like really overreaching. And of course, it comes back again to, broad language, because who's to say that, like, say, a couple decides, hey, we're going to make a sex tape, we're going to put it out there, and of course, they're a monogamous couple, they've been together for a while, so they don't need the protection. Could they be sued for it? Again, broad language, that's going to be bringing a lot of stuff down, and I think that's where, again, from based on what I've seen, is a lot of the problem is that broad language. And that could definitely destroy the livelihoods of at least thousands, if not millions, of people. I don't know how big in terms of people the porn industry is. So
big enough to have its own award show every year.
Yeah, this is true. So all right, we've hit the bottom of the barrel with this next. This one was not the bottom of the barrel. This one is, because this one, and I did a fun thing with this one. I'm trying to get better about when I put the news stories in, I copy them from the thing, and I switch around some of the things. Like, they'll have like the local news stations or whatever, and I've tried for a while to remember. Okay, read the thing. I try to edit out like the addresses or what have you. This one I did a little bit more with it, because this is about Brock Turner. You know the guy, and if you don't know the guy, you're going to find out in a few seconds. So here we go. Armed protesters have been waiting for Brock Turner to arrive at his parents' home in Ohio, where the former Stanford University student rapist is expected to live after serving 3 months for sexually assaulting an unconscious woman last year. Cue the rage, and also note that you could probably tell where I have edited at this point. Some protesters held signs that read "castrate rapists," and another held a sign that read, "If I rape Brock, will I only do 3 months?" The over-entitled rapist was released from Santa Clara Jail in California on Friday. He was initially sentenced to 6 months, a short sentence that sparked national outrage and a recall effort. Wow, that's bad spacing there. Against the judge who issued the punishment. The over-entitled monster served only half that time in county jail.
Okay, I need to. Look, I need to make a comment on this.
Go ahead.
Brock Turner is a piece of shit, no question.
Yeah.
You're not getting any argument from me. This is not good journalism.
I'm
sorry, it isn't.
Yeah, which is fair, and I will admit the over-entitled monster, the over-entitled rapist, those are my additions. That's not from the original article. I will clarify.
Okay.
That. Yeah.
All right. Fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I was what? Let's just making really sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Those edits are mine. because they do the thing. Okay.
Okay.
So protesters.
Continue.
Protesters arrived in front of his parents' Ohio home on Friday, awaiting the arrival of the fucking rapist. Some of the protesters were armed with assault weapons, and some wrote messages in chalk in front and near the home. Some returned Saturday, but it was not clear where the piece of shit was. One message written on the sidewalk read, "Shoot your local rapist." Another had a large arrow pointing toward the suburban home, the word rapist written above it. Local news reported about a dozen protesters showed up. Sugar Creek Township police officers were seen watching the protest from a distance, and firefighters reportedly came on Friday night to clear the chalk message with fire hoses. As a convicted sex offender, Turner is required to register as a sex offender with the Greene County Sheriff's Office within 5 days, according to local news. A review of the Sheriff's Office's sex offender registry portal showed the over-entitled rapist had not registered with the department as of Saturday evening. I missed a thing earlier. So we all know he got out. He got off light because, again, over-entitled, basically white privilege.
Rich white boy is the phrase you're looking for.
Yes, thank you. And normally, under normal circumstances, I see armed protesters and I'm thinking, oh shit, this can't be good. And while there is still the possibility of him being shot and killed, which I don't necessarily condone, but at the same time, it's going to be like, well, what, you have you basically use your rich white boy privilege and got off pretty much scot-free, basically. 3 months in jail. In a county jail, not even in a prison. So, you never even got to meet Bubba, basically. Which, again, that's another one of those things I don't necessarily condone, but it's, what did you expect? So, yeah. But in this case here, though, the armed protesters threatening, apparently threatening him just by being there, because I'm pretty sure if I saw armed protesters outside my home, I would feel threatened and intimidated. But that's just me. Sign that says castrate rapists, shoot your local rapist. I basically have pretty much no sympathy for this guy. None. Just no, sorry. And although honestly, I think it would be a lot more amusing if he were beaten up by a pack of nuns, because that would be funny. But that's just me. Kat, do you have any thoughts?
I get really iffy when people go to anybody's house, because there are people living there or who might go there who are not rapists. They might be rapist sympathizers because they're family, et cetera, et cetera. But I really, the idea that somebody's protesting directly at your house makes me extremely uncomfortable, because I feel like that's just a disaster waiting to happen. We feel bad when somebody gets their address, somebody, I don't know, if a girl gamer got doxxed or something like that, we would say that that's wrong. But if it's a rapist, then it's okay. Well, the house isn't entirely full of rapists. So yeah. I'm really not comfortable with them protesting in front of his house. But on the other hand, if I lived there, I'd probably be doing it, because that guy's a fucking piece of trash.
So, yeah. So, as far as this news story, last thing, and then we'll move on. You were mentioning that, your mention of if you were living there, you probably would have done it. I'm willing to bet that these protesters were probably locals. I'm guessing. But again, I also still wouldn't dox the guy, because let the locals take care of him. There's enough rage there already.
Right.
So yeah.
But yeah, he's trash, and I don't feel sorry for him at all. I just kind of feel sorry for his family and his neighbors who are having to put up with all of this stuff. But I really want people to keep it public. You don't have to write nasty things, but do keep reminding people that this guy is a rapist, because I want every single person for the rest of his life to look at this guy and go, that's the rapist from TV. I don't ever want a piece of shit like this to have a normal life, because he fucked over someone else's life, and that person's never going to have a normal life. So why should he have a normal life? Everybody who goes to his school should go, that's Brock the rapist. Every teacher should go, I'm grading the paper for Brock the rapist. I want people to remember that forever.
Yeah. And that's probably the best way to go. except see him get beat up by a bunch of nuns because it's funny. And bear in mind,
that would be okay too. Yeah, like smacking him down with the Bible, like literally beating him to death with the Bible.
Oh yes. Although maybe not to death. I don't want to.
Like, yeah, not to death. I mean, they're nuns.
Yeah. I want them to suffer. But yeah. So now hopefully we'll bring things up a little bit more now with this next story. It was an uncivil end for one Honda Civic. Carmen Chambley, 19, has been arrested after she attempted to get revenge on her ex-boyfriend by setting fire to his car. Because that's what you do, apparently. However, as the best-laid plans of mice and men often go awry, there was one major hurdle in her plot to achieve fiery retribution. It was the wrong car! I have no idea who she is, former automobile owner Thomas Jennings told the local news station. Jennings exited his residence at the urging of his alarmed roommate to only see the giant blaze that was once his Honda. I've never seen her in my life, he said. Chambley allegedly stuck a rag in the car's gas tank and set it on fire. She may have also used a flammable liquid to bring further misdirected fury to the forsaken four-door. Wow. Thankfully, a surveillance camera outside the man's home caught the Florida woman in the act. Of course it's Florida. Leading to her arrest Saturday morning by the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, the Tampa Bay Times reports. And there I go. That's why I need to remember to edit that better. The allegedly petty pyro now faces charges of second-degree arson. And I just have to say, when I first read that, I thought it said pretty pyro, and like, that's not needed, but it's petty. The state of Florida is no stranger to scorned women resorting to fire to enact vengeance. In 2014, a Jacksonville resident incinerated a man's car because he refused to buy her a McFlurry. Accordingly, she became McFlurious. And I feel Becky glaring now, and she doesn't know why.
Oh my god. That was amazing.
All right, out with it. Was that you, or was that the actual story, Gomer?
That is the actual story. You know, full disclosure.
Again, not the journalism.
Yeah, just, it's like, oh, that is something I would come up with, but I did not this time. Oh God. What can we say? It's just mistaken identity. Do your research. I know you're pissed off at your ex, but make sure you actually target your ex. Oh, don't let anger get the best of you, folks. You end up accidentally setting a man's car on fire, and it's not even the man you're trying to get after. Kat, do you have any extra thoughts before we go on?
McFlurious is a really awesome pun. Love it. Love it.
Erin, do you have any extras?
No.
Okay. So this next one, is just pure awesome, and it's even more awesome because it happened near me. From Dothan, Alabama. I go there every week. A Dothan woman allegedly kidnapped was rescued by police unharmed thanks to a cell phone and a bra. Arrest records show Sanithia Shantas Donaldson, 22, abducted the alleged female victim from a home on Tuesday. It says Catapla Street. I just left that in there because that is a weird name. A gun was used in the abduction, according to the police report. The victim alerted police by dialing 911 and placing the cell phone inside of her bra, said Sergeant Jason Adkins, a violent crimes investigator with the Dothan Police Department. He said communication specialists, dispatchers, were able to hear the woman talking to her alleged kidnapper while the abductor had no idea the call had been made. After listening for about 15 minutes, the dispatchers were able to determine the two women were on South Appletree Street. The patrol units were dispatched to the area and able to recover the victim without incident, Atkins said. Donaldson was charged with first-degree kidnapping. Police say the two women were acquainted and involved in earlier dispute. Atkins commended the dispatchers and their part for resolving the situation. This is a good story. This is awesome. Because it shows that the victim, she thought, okay, wait, she's trying to kidnap me. 911, right in the bra. That's good. Because I know around here, most people, they don't necessarily want to reach into a woman's bra unless they're trying to do really, really untoward things. And in this case, I think, bear in mind, I'm guessing, this woman just wanted to kidnap the other woman and not sexually assault her. She didn't want to do that. I don't know why she was kidnapping her. Don't know why. Maybe she was going to take her out to the woods. I don't know. I hope not. But yeah, good thinking, and good on the good thinking on the Dothan Police Department too. Good action on there. Although I like the fact that the sergeant called them communication specialists, and instead of dispatchers. It's like, not wrong, but it's just kind of a neat thing. Erin, what do you have to say?
Good for her.
Yeah. And Kat?
Well, I, as a woman living in the United States of America, do occasionally give thought to what's going to happen if and when I am kidnapped. And usually I think the first thing that they would do is take your phone. So now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, shoving down the bra is a great idea. Dial 911 right down the front, and if your bosom is big enough, nobody will know.
Yeah, there you go. Again, awesome story. Happened near me.
Sage advice.
Yes.
Today on Thespian Talk, how to not get kidnapped.
Yes. Oh, but we have time for one more. We're running a little over, but there's one short story that I've got that's at the bottom of our files here. 72-year-old Huber Heights man could be charged with using weapons while intoxicated after reportedly shooting himself in the hand while at the dentist. A Clark County Sheriff's report states patient James Short, 72, told police he heard his phone ringing and went to answer it, but accidentally grabbed his weapon and shot himself. Clark County Sheriff Gene Kelly, no relation, said no formal charges have been filed yet, and the case will go before the prosecutor. The incident happened on August 31st at 11:55. Short was treated at Miami Valley Hospital for a graze to the left side of his stomach, as well as a wound on his left hand near the thumb. Okay, number one, and a word of advice. If you're going to carry a gun, I don't think everybody needs to carry one, but if you're going to, make sure you don't keep it in the same pocket as your cell phone. That's number one. Number two, why have a gun in the dentist's office? That's a question we'll have to answer later on. And number three, and more importantly, why do you have your cell phone going while you're at the dentist's office? That I don't even know, because I'm in there getting my teeth worked on. I'm not about to be sitting there texting somebody. At least I don't think I will be. Kat, do you have any thoughts on this?
I'm kind of with you. Why do you need your gun at the dentist's office? Why is it near your cell phone? How do you mistake your gun for your cell phone? I mean, I don't think they use laughing gas anymore at the dentist, do they?
I honestly don't know.
That would be like a good reason. It wouldn't be a good thing, but I could understand if, you were on laughing gas or some shit like that and you made that mistake. But if you have been trusted to carry a gun, you'd think you'd be able to know the difference between a gun and a cell phone.
Yeah. Or maybe he had one of those cases that those cell phone cases that looks like a gun.
Yeah, because that's smart.
Yeah, very smart. Erin, do you have any thoughts?
Speaking as someone who has gone through dental work recently, extensive dental work, I got nothing else to add, but it's like, there's a time and a place for your gun. Mm-hmm. The dentist office isn't one of them.
No, this is not the Old West.
I mean, it starts with a guy shooting himself in the hand at the dentist's office, and the next thing you know, there's a howitzer when a prostate exam happens.
Oh, Jeebus. Oh, dear.
Well, you got to be ready for a terrorist attack anywhere you go. Terrorists can come from anywhere. They can come from the cavities. They can come from your very cavities.
Oh, God, I'm fucked then.
Cavities are... So, Kat, are you saying the cavities are a terrorist plot? Is that what you're saying?
I may or may not be saying that.
Lack of dental hygiene is un-American. Is that what we're taking away from this?
I'm not saying you're a terrorist if you have cavities. I'm just saying tiny little terrorists are going to come up out of your teeth and shoot tiny little guns. and fly tiny little planes into tiny little buildings. In
Holy shit! Holy shit! The cavity creeps are getting serious.
Indeed. Holy shit. Oh.
Somebody get whoever the fuck. I know was it Crest? Was that what that old
think
one
so,
was?
yeah.
Like some old, yeah, Crest. I don't know if there was like an actual like Crest man or something, because that was like the cavity creeps. I vaguely remember, but that's like way the hell when I was young, like 4 or 5 years old, and I cannot remember for the life of me.
Yeah. But yeah, so
Jesus.
Oh, so with that,
can we send it? So if we have tiny little cavity creep terrorists, can we give like Captain America the Ant-Man suit and send him down to punch Cavity Hitler in the face? Can we do that?
Oh
Yes.
yes.
Yes, it's either that or we're going to send in tiny little microscopic drones to take out all the tiny little terrorists.
Oh my god, that
in our teeth.
Oh,
in our teeth.
Yes.
No, there's the title for the show: Tiny Terrorists in Our Teeth.
Yes. Oh yes. So, on that.
You better end the episode there because it's not getting any better.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
It's like suddenly grenades and defending Fort Sex. We've hit the pinnacle for this episode.
Oh yeah. So
it will not get better.
So yeah, we have. That is going to be it for our show. As usual, all of our stories, and there's one we didn't get to, but that story will also be in the descriptions and everything. If you want to check it out, you can check out all the stories yourself if you wish, without my editorializing and editing and all of that good stuff in it. Like I said, the Brock Turner story, as we noted, yeah, that's got a lot of my editing in it. So anyway, if you want to see all that, those links will be down there. Erin, if we wanted to find you on the interwebs, where could we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Shallow15, SHALLOW15. You can also find me on the Tumblrs at notesfromtheidiotbox.tumblr.com. And all my videos and assorted whatnot can be found on youtube.com/DubiousKhan, DubiousKhan, and of course on rtgomer.com.
And Kat, if we wanted to find you on the interwebs, where could we find you?
You can hit me up on the social medias on Twitter at LabyrinthCat and Facebook.com/NerdistCat. And then you can listen to my other show, which I also record on this same day and usually talk about the exact same topics. What the Fuck over on 1201beyond.com. And my other show where I don't talk about anything like this. I talk about fun nerd stuff and not depressing rapist stuff. Nerd to the Third Power, which is on YouTube and iTunes and This Week in Geek. And if you're an anime fan, I have a review series where I'm actually not just behind a microphone. I'm in front of a camera, which is crazy for me. Our series is called Your Favorite Anime Rocks. We talk about why shows that people give a lot of shit to are actually really cool. You can check us out on Facebook and YouTube.
Sweet. Oh, so and as for me, well, before I get to mine, I did forget to mention a little bit earlier. Next week there's not going to be a show. I'm going to be on the road because the way my company works out is I put in for the home time every week, and they get me here. They do the whole things like that. My next one is going to be up in Chicago because it's going to be Becky's birthday on the 12th and 13th. Well, her birthday's on the 13th, but I'm going to be on the road getting up there, so there won't be able to record the show. So next week there will not be a show. Just so you guys won't freak out. But like, where's the show? It's fine. It's planned. It's fine. But if you want to find me in the meantime, you can follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, most places on the social medias at Gomer21XX. I do have a Facebook fan page, facebook.com/GomerRantingThespian. Yes, all one word, and yes, there are 2 R's in there. I don't think anybody's really had a problem with it, but just nipping that in the bud. The show does have its own Tumblr as well, thespiantalk.tumblr.com. Ask box is always open. Send in your feedback, your questions, whatever. We'll read them out on the show. And of course, if you're listening to this and seeing this on on my site, rtgomer.com, or over on nerdvice.com, you'll notice that we are on YouTube. It's got its own YouTube channel now. I still need to upload the backlog onto YouTube at some point. And there's a lot. This is episode 174, so there's a lot of backlog to work on, and some of it is like kind of uncomfortable for different reasons. One of them starts with a P. Let's put it that way. So with that, thank you guys for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it. And take care. And until next time, this is Gomer, the Ranting Thespian, with the cat and Erin Mills, aka DubiousKhan, signing off.
Thespian Talk is an RT Gomer Productions presentation. Our show's theme is Kick Shock by Kevin MacLeod. Find out more at incompetech.com. If you like this show and want to help support future episodes, head over to patreon.com/Gomer21XX. For a contribution as little as $1 per production, you can get early access to all future productions, as well as monthly Patreon-only vlogs and announcements. Our show's artwork was produced by the talented Becky Hopkins, who can be commissioned by going to patreon.com/BeckyHop. Check us out on iTunes or visit rtgomer.com for more great shows.